for Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network. Tiger Talk, live from Tiger Club inside the Robins Center on the Fort Hays State Campus, is brought to you by these premier Tiger sponsors. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, banking one story at a time. The Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, expertise, technology, compassion, all right here. Adams Brown, strategic allies and CPAs, going above and beyond for you. BTI, your John Deere dealer, with locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family in partnership with your family. The Taco Shop, dine in, carry out, or delivery. Since 1970, you've never had it so good. And Eagle, our community connected. Tiger Talk with the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Wellbrock.
And a good Wednesday, and welcome into Tiger Talk. We are live at the Robins Center on the Fort Hays State University campus, part of Tiger Club, and we're glad to have you with us here as we run down some basketball, wrestling, and baseball today. Big show lined up, and we're certainly glad to have you a part of the program. As we say each and every show, you can join us in person by joining Tiger Club. Contact the Fort Hays State Athletic Office. Obviously, not a whole lot left this year, but certainly make that for your plans for next year. To join Tiger Club, your entry fee or your fee goes into athletic scholarships, and you can join us on Wednesdays for lunch here at the Robins Center as we talk some Fort Hays State athletics. As we said, good show lined up today. We'll talk Battaglia Cars women's basketball, Mark Johnson's men's basketball, big weekend, great day Saturday with all the former players back in town. We'll discuss that. Two pretty darn good games as well. The regional wrestling championships taking place this weekend. We're going to get an update from Eric Wentz. And baseball had their home opener and took on number 14 Missouri Southern. And Justin Wickert will join us as we recap that and preview their series at Rogers State this weekend. Before we get into that, I wanted to give you a quick update. Indoor track and field was at the MIAA Championships. The women finished third, their best finish ever. The men tied for fourth, and they found out yesterday 9 got invites and qualified for the Division II Championships. That'll take place on the 7th, 8th, and 9th of March next weekend in Pittsburgh. Nolan Churchman in the heptathlon, Taylor Sevold in the pentathlon, Annabeth Ballman qualified in the women's pole vault, Hayden Albright the 400, Ethan Lang the 800, and the distance medley relay team of Trevor Medina, Hayden Albright, Ethan Lang, and Grant Bradley also qualifying, and Jacob Clark qualified in the pole vault, and Dayton Williams qualified in the high jump. You can find more on that on the Fort Hays State Athletics website, and you can also find their times of competition next weekend in Pittsburgh at the Indoor Championships. Softball went 3-3 in Topeka at that Washburn tournament. They are actually in action today. They will be in Denver to take on MSU Denver. That's a 1 o'clock Central Time start. If you go to the Fort Hays State Athletics website, you can see the link for live stats and live video of the doubleheader between the Tigers and MSU Denver. And I think next week we're going to have Coach Adrian Pilkington on the program once again. So that gets you up to date with everything. Right now we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll hear from Eric Wentz, the head wrestling coach. The Tiger men getting set for the NCAA Regionals. We'll get a preview when we return. This is the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
The Golden Q is the place for football and food. Friday night, when your team is out of town, stop in for your favorite burger and watch the game. Want to enjoy the game from home, but still eat the Golden Q's tasty food? Use their app to place an order to go, or use DoorDash. Then, when it's time to blow off some steam, head to the Fort, duck pin, bowling, axe throwing, VR, and check out their huge outdoor patio. Book a party room for your group or host a large gathering at the Fort. The Golden Q and the Fort in Hays.
And now the ball knocked away by Dilsaver and stolen by Levy. Lead pass up the floor to Wagner. She'll go to the rim and lay it in. Timeout, Pittsburgh State. Fort Hays State gets a steal and a breakaway for Katie Wagner and lead 21-11.
Yeah, some of the action from last Thursday, the Tiger women in Pittsburg State. We'll chat with Coach Talia Kars here in just a little bit. Right now, we're going to talk a little wrestling with Coach Eric Wentz. Before we do that, reminder, you can chime in with a question. Go to the Fort Hays State Athletics website, fhsuathletics.com. Click on Fan Zone. You get the drop down, and you'll see Ask the Coach. Submit your question. Chance to win a T-shirt from Fort Hays State Athletics. All right, Eric Wentz joining us now. The Tigers gearing up for Super Region 6 championship action in Pueblo, Colorado. That'll be on Saturday, and had a little bit of a sneak preview when we talked to you last time, but first off, health-wise, obviously no competition this past weekend. Everybody good to go, or at least as good to go as they're going to get this time of the year?
I think so. I think they're as good as they're going to get physically. You know, we're just keeping those knees healthy, keeping the shoulders strong, and really just kind of focusing on recovery and making sure they're rested up and, really peaking at the right time this week.
How do you go about preparation? Because obviously there's some guys, you have wrestlers that hang around even though their seasons are done and help wrestle, and get those that will be going to regional ready to go?
Yep. We try to keep it as normal as possible. Even if their season's over, we kind of emphasize that, they're still a big part of whoever's in their spot achieving their goals. And so we've been rotating fresh guys in on the starters. We've been doing drill matches and things that are that these guys play a major role in, and then they're doing a great job. We gave them big round of applause yesterday at the end of practice, because it's to wrestle and not be the guy that's going to the qualifier. That's tough. So for them to be able to overcome that and really kind of sacrifice their body and their time to help these guys that are competing this weekend and help them get ready. That's awesome for them to be able to do that. And that's kind of our team aspect. We got a great group of guys who believe in each other and push each other and pick each other up. So I'm pretty excited about where we're at right now.
Let's talk about the guys that will be wrestling. How does the last couple of weeks of training gone, and just some of the prospects for this weekend? Yeah,
I think we're sitting pretty good. We're going through with the region, going through the pre-seeds and things like that. So the hard part is that we've got a lot of the top guys in the country in that qualifier. There's only 6 regions, but we've got everybody from here west. So we got San Francisco, Simon Fraser, and there's some of these teams we haven't seen a whole lot since first semester. So we've got DeAndre's got a real good shot at 125. The hard part is, we seed the top 8, and he's probably sitting around the number 8 spot. And I was trying to figure out where would I put him in the rankings, and I actually would prefer that he be drawn in, because he's a bad draw for anybody. And so if he is unseeded going in out of the 13 or 12 that we got in our region, he could really wreck the bracket, because some of these guys, if he catches somebody right off the scale who's a high seed, he essentially takes over that seed if he can knock him off. And that's what we talk to these guys about every week, is be the bad draw. So we got a lot of guys that might get drawn in, because we've got some guys that are 5, 6, 7, 8 seed range, but it depends on where the other coaches see him and some head-to-head matchups. So if we can really focus on be the bad draw in the first round and get on a roll, good things can happen.
Does a mentality change? You've been dual season really since Christmas break, and now you get back into tournament wrestling, and obviously this is it. This is the national qualifier. Obviously you're going to get everybody's best, and everybody's kind of in that desperation mode a little bit, but does the mind frame have to change at all a little bit?
A little bit. You just got to keep them positive and keep re-emphasizing the fact that it's only 7 minutes. If you just go nuts for 7 minutes, if you win, or regardless of the outcome, you're going to have an hour and a half to 2 hours to recover. You can't tell me that you can't go out there for 7 minutes and lay it all on the line and give your best effort, because if you have a slow start at this tournament, your season's over.
Yeah.
So we emphasize that can't be a slow starter. You can't wait till halfway through the second period to really get going. And the other guys in the bracket might, if they're banged up, they're tired of cutting weight. We talked to them. We talked yesterday. We're like, let's send some of these guys home. If they really want to go home that bad, let's send them home. And because they're ready for their season to be over. And just keep that positive mindset for everybody going into this thing.
You talked about there's a lot of teams you haven't faced before. Is it do you prefer going into something like this maybe against guys and teams you've wrestled already, or is that element of surprise and unknown maybe a good thing?
It could be a good thing. We've really wrestled pretty well, regardless of the last two dual meet outcomes. We've wrestled pretty well leading into those, and we competed well against those guys. We were just outgunned by a bunch of older guys, and so we go into this tournament, talking to them about everybody's 0-0 going into this thing. Rankings don't matter, seeds don't matter, records don't matter. So let's go into this thing thinking everybody's 0-0, and we've game planned a little bit. But a lot of it is let's do what we do really well and make the other people adjust.
I mean, obviously you want to get everybody through and everybody's got a chance, but realistically, guys, you feel that, hey, if they wrestle to their potential, have a great chance of pushing on through and getting to the national championships. Yeah,
I mean, obviously Terrius at 197, we don't know if he's going to be the 2 or the 3 seed at this thing. The Kearney guy that's beat him twice this year is going to be the 1. He's the outright 1. But after that, it's kind of wide open, and every weight class is like that, So if he's the 2 or the 3, we're pretty confident he can make the finals, which gets him on an automatic bid. You got to finish top 3, which makes it tough when you got, we're one of the bigger regions. And, when you got 12 teams trying to battle it out for 3 qualifying spots at each weight, there's going to be a lot of really good guys left home. Tony Caldwell's in the same boat. We really thought Tony was in a good spot most of the year going into this thing. I think he's currently sitting at the 5 or the 6 seed. He's got the guys all ahead of him are ranked in the top 10, top 15. So, but he's had good matches with these guys in the past. So, and then the Simon Fraser kid showed up second semester, who he lost to in the qualifying match last year. They wrestled in the 3rd and 4th place match, and this guy showed up second semester. He wasn't even on their roster first semester, so he just kind of shows up, and then so we feel like that could be a good matchup. Tony's got a really good shot if he wrestles really well to maybe sneak through. He's gonna be hard pressed to get into that finals match, but like I said, anything can happen. Tony's really tough on his feet, so if he can maybe get some of his Greco going and get to some body locks and maybe throw somebody to their back, maybe upset somebody. Obviously DeAndre Brown having 2 3-point matches with some nationally ranked guys recently is going to be good for him, and his big one is can't be a slow starter, because his pace can't be matched. If he goes out in the first minute and just goes goes nuts for the first couple minutes, and nobody can keep up with him because he's so fast. He's got a gas tank for days. So pretty excited about him. Marcel Deli at 149. Lost on riding time to a top 12 kid, so from Kearney, who's going to – the crazy thing is that top 12 guy from Kearney is going to be like the 5 seed.
Wow.
So it's a deep weight class, and like I said, every weight class is like that. There's, anywhere from 5 to 7 guys ranked in the country at each weight, so there's going to be, 4, 5, 6 guys at every weight who are in the rankings that don't even get to go to nationals. So
you got to answer my question is going to top 3 qualify out of this to go on to the next national meet.
Yep, top 3, which makes it tough. But it's and then they place top 6, so we're talking about these guys also about team race.
Yeah.
If just because you don't make the finals and get that automatic bid, or even if you don't make that 3rd place match, we place out to top 6. If you can really wreck the backside of the bracket coming through and score some bonus point wins and get in that 5th and 6th place match and come out in the top 6, I think that's what we talked about last year a lot too. Is we finished in the top 5 in the region. I think it's going to be a good finish for us.
Sounds good. Should be a lot of fun. That's coming up on Saturday out in Pueblo. You can follow it on FHSUathletics.com. There'll be a link for track wrestling. There's a link for watching the tournament. So should be lots of fun. Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Best of luck, and hopefully when we chat again, we can talk about some guys qualifying for the Nationals. That'd be a lot of fun.
That's the plan.
There you go. That's Eric Wentz. He's a head wrestling coach at Fort Hays State. Again, at the Region 6 Championships taking place Saturday in Pueblo. Kansas Department of Transportation and the Drive to Zero Coalition invite you to join Tiger fans with the plan. If you're going to be drinking, always designate a sober driver. We'll take a break, talk some baseball with Justin Wickert, head coach of the Tigers. He'll join us next. This is Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
The Golden Q is the place for football and food. Friday night, when your team is out of town, stop in for your favorite burger and watch the game. Want to enjoy the game from home, but still eat the Golden Q's tasty food? Use their app to place an order to go or use DoorDash. Then when it's time to blow off some steam, head to the Fort, duck pin, bowling, axe throwing, VR, and check out their huge outdoor patio. Book a party room for your group or host a large gathering at the Fort, the Golden Q and the Fort in Hayes.
Salek plays it over to Galladay. There's 4 to shoot. Back to Jesse. Launches a three-pointer. Swish! At the shot clock. Jesse's 5th 3 of the year. 68-65. Fort Hays State. Big-time bucket from Salek.
Yeah, some of the action on Saturday. The Tiger women get a double overtime win over Missouri Southern. We'll talk with Talia Kars and Mark Johnson, the men's program, here in just a little bit. But right now we're talking some baseball as Justin Wicker, the head coach of the Tigers, joins us. Fort Hays State had their home opener this weekend. Missouri Southern coming to town, and I guess home conference opener against Missouri Southern, ranked 14th in the country. And Tigers take 1 out of 3, but you look back and you were right there to maybe take 2 out of 3. It kind of got away from you on Friday in the series opener. Saturday was not a good day, and then Sunday a really good game. You won 5-3. I guess your overall thoughts on your conference opening series against a really good opponent.
They are a good opponent for sure. We walked out there in the first game. We kind of saw where we stand as a team. We also got to see where we can be as a team. Mm-hmm. Walk out in the first day, wind's blowing out. Cade Flaherty, I thought, threw the ball real well. You know, you jam a guy, goes out 405, and you're going, how's that happen? But we kind of compounded on ourselves. I think we had 4 errors in there that let multiple runners in. And on a day like that, when you're talking about, I think there's 48 players that came to the plate for them. You bring another player, and there's a wind blowing out. There's a chance the ball will leave. And Cade battled in for us. We went to Vaughn behind, who did a good job too. Won a lot of pitches, but again, you're talking about balls that usually don't even get within 20 feet of the track, making it over the fence. So we learned a little bit about them. They learned how to be resilient. The next day we go out. We're in the game. Rinker got off to a slow start, gave him a couple runs before he got an out, and then we made a bullpen move and kind of bit us. Before we knew it, we had walked a couple guys and hit a couple guys. But, I mean, on the other side of that is you look at the runs, and if you read between lines there, you kind of know what we're doing. We're giving opportunities. Some young guys. We did have a couple young pitchers throw well. We had some older guys that got an opportunity and didn't perform, so kind of lets us know where they stand. And then we were able to save Ty Riley there for that final game. I think our freshman Espinoza was maybe just a little bit nervous and got out there. Normally you would let him work out of something like that, but we didn't want to take the risk. We gave the ball to Ty, and he went out and gave us 7 great innings. So
yeah, certainly did a great job. And in Friday's game, we see him a lot at Larks Park. I mean, and even Missouri Southern, they kind of did this a little bit last year. I mean, they had a couple just dink base hits just over the gloves, and then they would get one of those cheap home runs that you get when the wind's blowing like it is. And it can be frustrating because, as you said, Cade was making some really good pitches, and a lot of those should have been outs, and they just weren't, and it kind of is how that game kind of went.
Yeah, they are a good hitting team, though. They cover the plate up well. They're a hard team to strike out when you do get ahead. Zone was kind of tight in there, and on some of the bloop shots, what we found out is at Larks Park, if the wind's blowing out, you don't want to play back, you want to play in, because if it's over your head, it's actually going to leave the park, and we could have prevented a few of those balls from falling in front of them, but we're learning and adapting as we go, and we'll make adjustments as we get further along.
And I guess what you had to like, obviously Saturday kind of got away from you, but you guys came back on Sunday with a right attitude. Just a great baseball game, well-played game. You win it 5-3, got a little tense there at the end, but it was just a really fun baseball game on what turned out to be a beautiful afternoon to play it at this time of the year.
It was, and there was quite a few people in attendance, and we got out there and got to see how we compete behind a sub-average performance the day before, and it's exciting to see. That's the signs of a team becoming a good team, and they came back out and competed well for us. So we know they're going to be in the top of the conference. We know we have a chance to compete with them now, and they are a beatable opponent. But you got to go out and play clean baseball, and you got to play hard, and you got to execute. So
you mentioned Ty Riley. He comes in, goes 7 innings for you, 2 earned runs, 4 hits, strikes out 9, and you kind of stuck with him. He was kind of struggling there toward the end, but he got through it and then got it to you to the late stages to the bullpen. Showed a lot of grit out there to fight through those 7 innings, especially late.
Yeah, he's a great arm, and he's a big time big-time competitor. You know, he wants the ball when it matters. That's what's awesome. He's not one of the guys that's like, hey, I want to start. We could put him out there, and he probably could throw game one for us, but at the same time, you know, he wants the ball when the game's tied in the 7th inning, or whether it's coming in and closing the game, and it's awesome to have a guy with that kind of personality on the team. So
that's Tanner Vaughn doing, because he was pitching well. They took that line drive off the back and left the game. You doing all right?
Yeah,
a little sore?
Yeah, he's doing good. I think he was maybe a little bit tired from the day before. It's taxing when you're out there fighting against the wind and you're having to try to execute pitches at a high rate. And if you do make a mistake, you know, and a barrel gets under the ball there, then you know you got to lock right back in. So I think he's a little bit maybe emotionally and physically fatigued, but he gave us a couple big outs there and lightened the load on Maley to come in and finish it out.
Yeah, and Spencer came in, did a good job to get you out of it. So, I mean, just winning one against these guys, and you did it a year ago. What's that do for the psyche and the confidence of this team? As you said, they're ranked 14th in the country. They're going to be battling for a league championship. To win one and have a chance to win 2 out of 3, what's that do mentally for your guys?
Well, it lets us know where we are, and it lets us know that we can continue to improve and have a chance to go out there and take a second game. We were lucky. We drew one of the top opponents in the conference to come out of the gate. It gives us kind of a taste of what we're in for every weekend from here on out. So.
And now you come back and you'll hit the road. You'll go to Claremore, take on Rogers State this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They're the only conference team to sweep a series to begin the year. They played Newman, won all 3. Obviously, they've traditionally been really, really good. But if I remember right, the last year against these guys, it was a series you look back and felt you could have maybe won all 3, but kind of booted the ball around and didn't take advantage of some opportunities. But certainly a great opportunity against another really good program this weekend.
Yeah, it'll be a good series, you know. We're trying not to repeat mistakes that we made in the past, and we expect to play clean defense. That was one of the first games where we had multiple errors, and you know, we like our defense, we like the guys, so we're looking forward to getting down there and competing.
Should be a lot of fun as the Tigers take on Rogers State. Again, you can find all the links on FortHaysStateAthletics.com to watch and follow that game with the live stats. Coach, as always, we appreciate the time. Safe travels to Claremore, and go get those Hillcats.
I appreciate it.
There you go. That is Justin Wickert, head coach of the Fort Hays State baseball team. They'll be back in action on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Rogers State. Tiger Talk brought to you by BTI. They're your John Deere dealer. Locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family in partnership with your family. Women's basketball coach Talia Kars joins us next. This is the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
Ready to discover something new? The next time you're in your car, tune your radio to 94.3 FM.
It's here. It's Hayes' greatest hits.
Love it.
On 1400 KAYS and 94.3 FM.
94.3 FM, KAYS. Go ahead, check us out.
Hammocky drives into the lane, spins, can't shoot it, flips it out to Jansson. B for 3, good! Nothing but net! Bjarne Jansson, his 5th 3 of the game, a new career high. It's a 1-point game, 57-56.
Yeah, some of the
Bjarne Jansson single-handedly trying to get the Tigers back in this thing after they trailed by 18.
Some of the action from Saturday afternoon. The Tiger men rally to beat Southern. We'll talk with head coach Mark Johnson here shortly. But right now, women's coach Talia Kars joining us. Couple of nice wins for the Tiger ladies over Pittsburg State on Thursday, and then a thriller in double overtime over Missouri Southern State on Saturday. Coach, congratulations. It was a great week of basketball and just a lot of fun. Obviously, Pitt State, for whatever reason, I mean, you look, maybe your 2 best games of the year have been against the Gorillas. So if you can play them more, who knows, that might be a good thing. But then to come back after that one and just really have to grind one out against Missouri Southern, obviously a really good team, that made for a good cap to a fun week.
Yeah, it really did. To come out of that week 2-0 was a really good week for us, and I thought we did a really good job against Pitt, and just seeing 2 completely different teams. Pitt isn't super physical, they're really athletic, they're very guard oriented, and so for us to adjust from Pitt to Southern, and then Southern being super physical, really inside dominant, I thought we did a really good job against both teams adjusting to what they were trying to get done and overcoming that.
I guess you look at the two matchups with Pitt. I mean, Grace Pyle is one of the best players and shooters around, and 2 games in a row now, you basically have taken her out 0 for 5 and really didn't give her an opportunity to get on a roll and get them back in the game. For whatever reason, your gals just really do a good job of taking her out of it, which obviously changes a lot what they like to do when she's not scoring like she normally does, one of the tops in the conference.
Yeah, well, Emma's a former teammate of Grace,
so has something to do with it.
That's a little bit of it. But just as a whole, I thought we did a great job of understanding her tendencies and what she wanted to do, and we're able to take that away. And then she really just kind of got in her head, I think, as we didn't let her score or didn't let her even take a shot, really, and the ball didn't fall for her.
Well, you got a nice win there, and then Missouri Southern on Saturday. Obviously, they kind of manhandled you when you played them at their place earlier in the year, had that bad second quarter. A lot of former players back. I know some of them talked to the team and came to the shoot-around, and so it was really neat to play well and get a win like that in front of a lot of the former Tiger women players who came back to watch that game and be a part of the fun weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Southern is probably the most physical team in the league, and so for us to match their physicality, I was really proud of our girls for doing that, because that's why we got beat down there, is we did not match what they were bringing, and we did a really good job on Saturday of doing that. And then, yeah, it was fun to have a bunch of people around, and kids that our kids have played with, but also people from way back that we never met, and had the opportunity to meet some new players. And I'd actually never met Annette, and so I got to meet Annette for the first time, and it was a lot of fun to get to talk to them.
Yeah, a lot of that 91 national championship team was back, and kind of fun to see a lot of them. But you mentioned the physicality for your team to adjust and play, because it didn't seem to faze them at all. They were ready for it and handled it about as well as you could.
Yeah, no. At one point, I think there was 3 of the Southern players in tears, and for us to put Southern in tears, I was like, man, like we're just really into it. Aside obviously from our free throws, but I thought we came them physically and mentally to push through and to finish that game. And I think Southern's eyes got really big in the moment, and we have you guys to thank for a lot of that too. Is just that it was a crazy atmosphere to play in, and Southern just kind of backed down, and we really stepped up to the moment.
We did have a question about free throws, since you kind of went there. Have you ever won a game while missing as many or more free throws than you did? Because let's see, you were 19 of 33 from the line. It's hard to win when you do that, but your team found a way.
Yeah, no, they did, and obviously it is difficult to do that, and it was one of those moments I was really thankful for a win. But for them to miss and us to continue in that frustration of struggling to make those, it was such a mental battle to continue to execute on offense and continue to get stops on defense. And when we had opportunities to finish at the free throw line, we didn't get it done, but we got it done in other ways. And I think that was just a huge step for us to in that moment to just really overcome those things. And when we had opportunities to win and didn't, we found a different way to do it. And I was really proud of them for doing that.
Olivia had a big game. She fouls out, but scored 14 points, played less than 20 minutes. And we talked after the game, it's no knock on the officiating, because they were consistent, but it was tough to be a big in that game and do anything. And she found a way to contribute when it was just a tough day for bigs, because it just felt like they were the biggest players on the floor, so they were automatically fouling when they stepped out there.
Yeah, no, it's hard when both bigs, all 4 of them really on the court at the same time, are so physical that I think the rest have a hard time. Is it a foul? Is it not a foul? They're bouncing off. The guards are bouncing off of them, but was it a foul? So it's hard to call those games, because it is so physical. And our girls really just stepped up, and when Liv fouled out, I thought Jessie stepped in and did a really good job of being aggressive, and then defensively on the other end, making them take tough shots.
Now hit a big 3 in that game. How frustrating does it get? I mean, you had a couple of chances that you could have won a regulation, could have won at the end of the first overtime, don't get it done. Didn't seem to phase your team. They just kept going at it, but that can be frustrating when you had it right there and just couldn't make a good shot on both occasions.
Yeah, it is tough, but also at the same time, I think because we were trying to win instead of trying not to lose, we were down, we were tied. I just felt like we still had confidence going into every overtime, and I thought we did a good job of executing, and we got a good shot at the end of those times, even though we missed our free throws. And I thought we did a great job of, especially on the defensive end, not giving up easy shots and not giving them second chance points.
Well, it was a fun game. Certainly everybody got their money's worth with the double overtime win. Just the second double overtime win in program history. And, of course, it went back. It was almost pretty close to the year to the day when you had the tough loss to Missouri Western in double overtime to get that one. And kind of like we talked about going on that last road trip, that was kind of going to define your season. You had the tough loss at Central. You come back and get 2 big wins last week, and now sets up Friday night with Nebraska Kearney. If you can find a way to get that, and we'll find out when region rankings come out later today, but a chance for this team to really improve their lot in all those postseason scenarios on Friday night.
Yeah, no, that definitely helped us out quite a bit to get those 2 wins, and we need Friday too to kind of guarantee that, hopefully, that postseason seeding. And Kearney had a tough game last week against Pitt. They got down big early and really struggled, so they're going to come in ready to beat us. And I was looking at the schedule the last 4 years. They've beat us 3 of the last 4 years at our place. So we have something to really that we need to get it done on Friday, and just to really help us maintain that in the region.
And you played them at their place. It came down to the wire. You found a way to escape with a 2-point victory. What's going to be the key? Because you know you're going to get their best shot. They're kind of the losses they've had. I mean, they're probably going to have to win the conference tournament, but you never know. But obviously this will be a big win for them. What's it going to take? Because you know it's going to be a battle, and probably down to the end, like it seems to be every time you play these guys lately.
Yeah, no, they're physical too, just kind of like Southern on the inside. They really try to get it into them, and their point guard does a really good job of getting them the ball. We need to slow them down in transition. They score a lot in the transition just because their 5-man run the floor really hard, and so do their guards, but their point guard does a great job of getting it advanced up the court. So we have to get them slowed down. That'll be huge. And then on the offensive end, just really executing. They struggled with their ball screens last week, so hopefully we can run some ball screens and get some easy baskets.
So you tell me there's a lot of similarities. You got bigs who can run well, and guards who do a good job of getting it to them in transition.
Yep. So it comes down to which team's going to show up and play better on Friday.
All right, sounds good. Should be a lot of fun. I know the fans that were out on Saturday certainly had a fun time with a nice double overtime victory, and there'd be no better way to close out the regular season than to beat those Lopers.
That is right.
All right. Appreciate it, Talia. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you on Friday night.
Thanks, Jordan.
There you go. It's Talia Kars, head coach of the Fort Hays State Women. Again, make that note. Friday night, 5:30, 7:30 for the men's and women's doubleheader out of Gross Memorial Coliseum. Tiger Talk today brought to you in part by the Taco Shop. Whether you order by phone, use their handy app, dine in, carry out, or delivery, you've never had it so good. The Taco Shop, they've been a Hays tradition since 1970. We'll take our final break. Head coach Mark Johnson for the men. Join us next. This is Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
That was another legend on 99 KZ Country. And yes, before that, we had a brand new artist. Your home for today's stars and the legends. We play real country. I'm Teresa Trapp. Weather, news, sports, it's all here. We're on Facebook, and there is a listen live link at hayspost.com. Dial us in on your radio at 99.5 FM. KHAZ, Real Country. 99 KZ Country.
At our league, you got to cover the whole floor, and that's what makes it hard to guard when all 5 guys can shoot, and B's our one big guy that can pick and pop and stretch the defense out and open up the floor. So it's important that he can, shoot the ball well. And that's the thing. I mean, I realize after 27 games, you kind of are what you are, but I feel like the difference with our team is a couple of guys that have struggled all year have proven in years past they're much better shooters than this. And, RJ's in, hopefully he's getting a little bit more healthy. He will shoot it better. So we feel like, that doesn't necessarily mean the way we have to shoot it from here on out. We have guys that have proven they can shoot it better than they have.
Good to see Sean Riley had 9 rebounds against Southern, and you've seen him, and a lot of times with the transfers it takes a while, but it seems like every time out he's getting better on the defense and getting better rebounding, because offensively, obviously, he does a pretty good job for his position, but the rebounding certainly coming along, and he had a big game on Saturday.
Yeah, I think that position, him and Connor have Sean's a numbers guy. He does a really good job of, you'll be surprised, you look at the box score and he has more points and rebounds than you think he had. And then Connor, I know Connor helped win that game for us Saturday. He didn't score a point. Now if we could get super glue on his hands, I think it would help. But the guy goes down there and just guards and makes it so hard, and that was a physical game. I couldn't imagine watching that game, having to officiate that game. I know on the sidelines, you're heat of the moment, you're frustrated with officials, but my gosh, that was an impossible game to ref. But Connor just does not give ground. He's athletic, and this team is weird. I was really concerned. I thought we'd be better offensively than the last year, but I was just worried how much we were going to drop, and I think we're probably better defensively this year just because we're a little more athletic and we have a little more depth. But Connor and Sean are a big part of that.
Did ask you about Trajan Davis. He left late in the ball game. Any update on him?
Yeah, he's out for the year, and it's a big loss. I mean, I feel terrible for him. You work all season to go get to the postseason and all that, and it's a big loss. I'm not worried about the numbers, but we got 4 guys that are the core of this team, and that's Caleb B, Elijah, and Trey. Elijah and B don't really say anything. They're extremely quiet. Caleb says a lot, or a little. Trey says a lot. Trey's kind of the heart and soul of everybody, and that play just explains Trey and everything you need to know about him. Pitt State won a game. I won't say the other team because, the kid was playing defense and he blew his knee out and he fell to the ground and just laid there, and Pitt went in and laid it in with 20 seconds, ended up winning. The final score in overtime was 4-2. All right? It was 4-2. We won 4-2. Trey blew his knee out. He got up and ran all the way back so they couldn't get a shot off. You know what I mean? If he doesn't do that, we might have lost 5-4. You know what I mean? But that explains the guy. He just wins. Like we've talked about, he's not necessarily a great shooter. At halftime, we attempted 13 threes, only made 2. He had both of them. If he doesn't make them, we're down 18, and we can't come back at halftime. The guy just steps up, and so that's a big loss for our team, and other guys are going to have to come in and fill that role somehow and help us continue to try to win.
Well, yeah, and obviously Kyle Grill gave you some good minutes. He's probably going to get more now, and have to, as you said, just kind of the old saying, next man up and find a way, because you guys, your whole team, you've worked so hard to get to where you are. Hopefully they can just overcome this and keep on going and accomplish all their goals.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we got, we're running, we can't afford to lose anybody else. No. We're down to 8 guys, and RJ is still, anybody has a bad back. One day you feel okay, the next day you feel average, and one day you feel terrible. And he still has limited minutes, so we need to make sure no one else goes down. But as long as that doesn't happen, we still have enough to keep going and be successful.
All right, Nebraska Kearney on Friday night. Obviously, they have struggled mightily this year. Yet, as we've talked about, they always play you tough. You could never pull away from them at their place. This is going to be it for them. You're going to get the best shot they have, and they find a way to hang around and make things interesting against you guys.
For sure. I mean, our last 3 games against them have come down to the very end. They've been struggles. They've been putting pretty much 5 people in the paint against us and leave us open, and we have a hard time, against them in those games doing that. So this will be a difficult game. I mean, anybody that thinks any different doesn't know what they're talking about. And our guys will be ready to play. Like I said, if we don't have success, it won't because we overlooked them and weren't ready to play. It's just we couldn't make enough shots. But it's a scary game because they've gone through a lot of turmoil not having their coach. They're better than their record. Their talent level is much better than their record, and not that it's no one's fault. It's just you fire your coach early and you got a lot of stuff going on. They've had some injuries, but they're good enough to come in here and beat us if we don't play well.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate it, Mark. Best of luck on Friday. We'll see you at the Coliseum.
All right, thanks, George.
There you go, Mark Johnson, coach of the Fort Hays State Tigers. Again, 5:30 for the women, 7:30 for the men. Friday night, Fort Hays State and Nebraska Kearney, and then it's down to the MIAA tournament, which you can get your tickets from the Fort Hays State Athletic Department. Stop on by. You can pick them up at the game on Friday. Fort Hays State Athletics invite you to join Tiger fans with a plan. If you're going to be drinking, always designate a sober driver. Tiger Talk brought to you today by the Haysmed Orthopedic Institute, Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, BTI, and the Taco Shop. That'll wrap it up. We'll see you back here next Wednesday, and of course we'll see you Friday from the Coliseum as the Tigers take on the Lopers. So long, everyone.
Voice of the Tigers, Gerard Welbrock, inviting you to join us for Tiger Talk Wednesday afternoons at 12:10 on KAYS. The show is part of the weekly Tiger Club meetings live from the Robbins Center on the Fort Hays State campus and brought to you by Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, the Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, the Taco Shop, and BTI, your area John Deere dealer. That's Tiger Talk, live from Tiger Club Wednesdays at 12:10 on 94.3 FM and 1400 AM KAYS.